Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure as usual being out here as usual and greeting you. And right now I'm in the backyard bringing this good news to you, pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your identity is your divinity. And that is what made me feel at liberty to speak to you concerning the 3 P's of control. Okay, the 3 P's of control that have been used to control humanity. Okay, and those 3 P's of which I want to speak to you about, they are the police, politicians, and preachers. So I want to speak to you today concerning preachers, politicians, and police. Now, the very first thing I want to speak to you about, or the very first P that I want to speak to you about, is the preachers. Now, in my country where I grew up, it is the culture to be taught in school to believe in the Bible and to believe in the Bible as literal and as secular history, and also to believe in a God in the sky and a man 2,000 years ago who died on a literal cross. Okay? And also, we have been taught to believe in academic education as the key to be successful in life. So, we are told that we must go to school, get good grades, and get a good job. So here we see the influence of the preachers, which is this religious mentality that they're bringing on us from a very, very young age when we do not actually know any better. Because to us, it seems like school and being fearful of a God in the sky is what's going to shape our future. And even our parents, along with the teachers, instill religion and fear and the dependence on academic education upon us from that very young age. And who is behind the whole school system and the religious system that have been put in place for us to follow? It is the politicians. So here we see the politicians are actually behind the preachers, which means they work together. Now, the church system do not have to pay taxes. They get duty-free concession. And they are allowed to run religious programs in the schools also. They normally have what they call, I think it's Bible classes, or something like that, religious studies, something like that in the schools. Even though religion is actually a part of the school program, whereby in the morning you have to sing these Jesus songs, and you have to do devotion. And in the afternoon, before lunch, you have to do devotion. And then in the evening, before you leave to go back home, you have to do devotion and so on and give praises to this God outside of yourself. So the politicians are behind this whole religious system to keep you control, to keep you a slave, to keep you in a way that you can't think for your own self, to give you a wrong concept of life, to give you for you to have their perception of the life they want you to believe and what they want you to become. So when you're told that if you train up a child in the way that they should go, that when they become older they won't depart, they realize that whatever been sown in your subconscious mind from a youth, you grow to believe that it would become your perception. It would be the way of thinking for you. Also, Let us look now at the police, which is basically the military, whether it's army or police. It comes back to the military. It comes back to a form of control that they're using against you, when in the very first place they teach you a way to think and to act, which is a way of ignorance. And so they have their judiciary set up to punish those who would act unwisely, yet they're teaching them in a way to keep them in ignorance. So you have the lawyers, you have the judge, you have the police, you have all these people who are benefiting from the ignorance of people who do not understand that their thought is what is creating their reality. People who do not understand that a thought is a vibrational frequency. People who do not understand that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. People who do not even realize that every action actually stems from a thought. Because in school, you've never been taught of the law of mentalism. So you've never been taught about life in school. You've been taught instead of religion that brings condemnation, that brings judgment on you, that brings shame and guilt upon you. And so we see, instead of you've been taught about the laws that governs the universe, you've been taught about the laws that they instituted to program you and to control you. Even in my country, in the schools, they normally have police coming to the schools and speaking to the children, programming their minds even more, their subconscious mind even more. Now, let us look at the police. When I look around, many men and women who I see are police. They used to be the same people who went to the same school with myself and with many other people who can identify them as their past schoolmate. We played cricket together. We played soccer together and all of these things. But because many of them came up in homes whereby they were taught to get a job and to have what they call it, have dignity. I was looking for a better word. Okay, but because to be ambitious was the word I was looking for. You were taught to be ambitious, and to be ambitious is to get a good job and to look a certain way and act a certain way to society, so you be accepted and embraced by society as one who is producing and one who's successful, and you get caught up in the rat race. So here we find people leave school and they wanted a job, and many of them, they get into the police force and they become a police, and as they become a police, they've been taught that all the other people, they are civilians and they are the law, and they are the military. They're supposed to see the law being carried out, and they should be willing to arrest down to their father, their mother, their brother, their sister, and that the real tribe is really the police. The rest of the police force is supposed to support the rest of the police force and stand together. Because, for example, if one policeman is like, say, beating a man and the man tries to defend himself, and the other police comes around and see one police in scuffle with someone who they refer to as a civilian, whether is it 5, 6, or 7, or 8 policemen, all of them gonna beat that one individual without even asking any question. Because it's a programming, it's a brainwash, and they will tell you that they are only doing their job. So what they do, they take people who have poverty mentality, people who do not know who they are, to join the so-called military, to become a policeman, to say that they are carrying out the laws and that you're supposed to live by certain laws, when the universe itself set laws in place for us to live by those laws. Like the law of thought, that whatever you sow, that is what you would reap. The law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of rhythm. All of these laws, if these laws been taught to humanity, and they've been taught that it is their own thoughts that is actually creating their reality, you'll have more people acting more wisely because they become more responsible for their thoughts. But when you have religion on one side keeping you in shame, doubt, fear, guilt, judgment, all of these things. Then you have the government getting you caught up in politics and make you feel divided because you feel that if you don't support this party or that party, you won't get a certain job and so on, and no one wouldn't pull a string for you, and you have that kind of mentality for the control. And then, as I was saying a while ago concerning the policemen, those who grab these kind of jobs because they have a poverty mentality and they want money, and they've been caught up in chasing after money, not knowing that they're supposed to be the master of money, money not supposed to be their master, and they will do anything, and they would say that they're only doing the job. And when a person is very influential or a political figure do certain things, they cannot go and arrest them. They have to humble themselves like little puppets. So this whole war of the cheap peas is to keep you as a puppet. So religion is to keep you like a puppet. So the preachers, they are puppets. And then you have the politicians. They too are puppets because they still have to answer to people even that is higher than them who set up the system. So they are just like a shadow government, and they are puppets also. So puppet looking to puppet. And if the blind lead the blind, they're going to fall over a ditch. And the police, they even for the puppets. I remember just sometime back in the tourist season, I was asking a policeman, the sentry, why is it that these tourists or these white people can stand right by the barracks, at the side of the barracks, and hold conversation, sit down, do anything they please, and the locals can't do it? And they were like angry with me and telling me I must understand there's something named tourism. I said to them, that's not tourism, that's whorism. That's a people living in colonialism. That's people who having slave mentality. And the policeman was telling me if he didn't have any white clothes, he wanted was to tell me certain words. But because of the white clothes, you understand? And all of that is puppetry. That is people who can't think for themselves. All they're just thinking about is the next dollar. They're just thinking about money because they have slave mentality. So those are the cheap peas, have control. So as I was saying, but the police, because many of them, they come out of homes where they've been taught poverty mentality, and they would do basically anything to protect themselves, to protect their job, because all this sin, as I said before, is lack, mediocrity, and basically chasing after money. So that is why in this time where you're told about corona and they're using this virus to institute further control, that is why you're seeing those are the people to the forefront. The preachers are lying to the people, telling them about the last days and prophecy being fulfilled and all of these things. And then you see the government is proving that they have power over these social clubs that they call church, and they can shut them down anytime. Yet these are the same people who was telling you that forsake not the assembling of yourself together. Yet these are the same people who've been passing on a collection bag. Now when they can't have church with a certain amount of people, now they're asking people to send money to their bank account. So it's all a game they're playing on people who can't think for themselves. That's why they don't want free speech, and they don't want free thinkers like myself. They're going to brand you as crazy. They're going to say that you are insane. People like myself who teach that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically, that the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. And from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22, it's all a great psychological drama. It's all about the human psyche. They turn around and tell the people that that man, he is crazy. And now you see also now the politicians now are using the news media to keep the people in further fear and control. And those who are speaking up, they are taking down their videos off of YouTube and so on. Like for example, Brian Rose, who runs London Real, when he had David Icke, they took down his video. So if you listen to me, you can go and check out London Real with Brian Rose, okay, and the interview with David Icke. But you might have to go on his website to get that particular one that they would have taken down, and then they were doing other things to try to block him, and so on. And so sometimes they don't even want people to speak about Corona and 5G in the same sentence, okay, to post it up. So all of that was to bring the further control and reveal these 3 P's of control of which I'm speaking to you about. And so now they make all around the world a police state. So police are saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And these police, they're so brainwashed and they have such poverty mentality, and they're so lost in the matrix and do not realize what is going on. They would do anything. They would kill their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, people who they grew up with, people who they went to school with, people who they play soccer with, I said before, people who they play cricket with, people who they laugh and talk with, blindly. The blind just keep leading the blind. So I'm just doing this video to help those who are free thinkers and those who are willing to think for themselves and to act for themselves, and those who believe that it is their thoughts that is creating their reality and would hold themselves more responsible for their thoughts. Because there's only one universal consciousness. We are all one, but they have set all of these programs to keep us divided so we can be easily controlled. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I believe I got my message across to you, and I just want to encourage you to be strong, to be brave, and to use this time of lockdown, this time of corona, to do something positive, to write down your desires, to do your affirmations, to do your meditations, to use your mind to create your reality, to believe in your own mind power, to believe that God is your imagination and that you can create your reality consciously. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to say, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me, I want to encourage you, if what I'm saying, if it's resonating with you, to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And let me just end here by saying that this message I bring to you, I always want you to remember this message is single eye. The single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says, if your eye be single, your whole body would be full of light. And my brother and my sisters, that is the experience that they do not want you to have. That's why they set these systems in place to keep your pineal gland locked down, shut down, so that third eye, that supernatural eye in you, which is the eye of imagination, will not wake up. But hadn't it been that I would have awakened within myself like a fire being, and would have heard the unearthly wind when a single eye opened in me, and I ascend and exit my skull and became invisible, and come to understand that when the Bible says you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, it is speaking as of an opening of an eye where you would awake from the dream of life. Some call it the eye of Horus. Okay, and that eye is on the pyramid, on the US dollar, right above the pyramid. That is why I always give you the symbol of the single eye, saying to you that is not an evil symbol, but it is the symbol of the all-seeing eye of God in you, which is your imagination. When you would wake from the dream of life and have an awakened imagination and come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, as in the S-U-N, there is no life and there is no light. For the sun is the giver of all life, not Jesus Christ at S-O-N, because there can be no S-O-N that can exist unless there first be the S-U-N. Therefore, Jesus can never be the light of the world. That is why also, my brothers and my sisters, in Psalm 84:11, you're told that the Lord thy God is a S-U-N and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you, and the Son has never withhold any good thing from you. And in Malachi 4:2, you're told that the Son, as in the S-U-N of righteousness, shall arise in you with healing in his wings, showing you that the scriptures, they're all solar allegory and many other more things that I don't want to go into at this time. That is why I always say to you to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all,